Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be making this super sweet little small wreath. I thought it would be perfect for Mother's Day, so we kept it really small and giftable. And we used a lot of the yellows and the pinks and the greens, and so something that could go from spring all the way through to summer. Doesn't have to be Mother's Day, but I thought it would be the perfect little Mother's Day gift. Or even maybe for a new homeowner. But I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. I'm going to drop you down and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so today we're going to make a pretty little Mother's Day wreath. We're going to go a little bit on the smaller size, make it a little bit more affordable. If you want to make this larger, just use a larger size grapevine. This is a 10-inch. You could go up to a 14 or a 16-inch. Just know that you will need more product. The larger the grapevine, the more product you're going to need. So we're just going to take this sage boxwood bush or bouquet, and I'm going to try to cut this paper. This one actually has a little zip tie on it. You don't normally see that. This one has got a little zip tie in there. So once you do that, then you can pull them apart. So we're just going to separate our little greeneries. So you get like a little fern piece, a little boxwood, and then you get one little sage piece. So we're just going to separate these, and that way it makes it easier when we start getting ready to go and add our greenery. They're already grouped for us. Okay, I think I'm going to go in with 3. We may not use all of the third one, but let's cut up 3. You can space it out a little bit further if you only wanted to do 2. But the reason I'm doing 3 is because I want 3 of these little sage pieces. If I just stick with the 2, then I only have 2 sage pieces. I'll try to find the zip tie in here. There it is. There it is. All right. Okay, so we got ferns, we got sage, and we've got boxwood. So that's the nice thing about getting the little bouquets with the little greenery, mixed greenery bushes, is they've kind of got the work already done for you. They've kind of already put the pieces together. We're going to start with our little boxwood, and I'm just going to go towards the center. Now I'm cutting these super long pieces into shorter pieces. So I'm going to go towards the outside and then towards the inside. And we're just going to go all the way around, just like our little ring around the rosy method that we do here. I'll do a couple with you, and then we're gonna play some pretty little music and let you watch as I go all the way around, because nobody wants to sit there and watch me do that. Very monotonous. Okay, so I go towards the outside, and then I'm sort of going towards the middle. And this grapevine is not the best, but we're gonna make it work. Okay, and then I'm just gonna keep turning it. Okay, so we've gone all the way around with that boxwood. Nice, pretty base going on. I do not know if I'm going to add a bow to this one yet. I brought some ribbon, but I'm thinking we may just leave it very, just very floral and no ribbon. We'll see. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go on with these little fern pieces. We're just going to start going in between, more towards the center. And I'm just turning as I go. And we're going to fill in with these ferns. Okay, I've gone all the way around with that. I've got a couple pieces left. We'll save it for later if we need to fill in any little holes. And now we're going to add our little sage pieces. So we can actually cut these. And so we'll get one bigger one and one smaller one. Let me get some of these tucked in there, and I'm kind of giving them a bend up as I get them in, and I'm pushing these a little bit more towards the inside. Okay, and I just alternated between the big piece and the little piece, cut them all the way around. I've got one more piece left. We'll save it for the end if we need to add any more. If you wanted to open up another bush, you could take and add some of these on the outside. You could do a couple on the outside, which I think would be pretty. But since we've only got two pieces, we're just going to wait. If I want to open up another one at the end, I can. Now, we are going to be doing primarily yellow for this design with just a pop of the hot pink. But most of it is going to be yellow. So I brought in these really pretty primrose sprays in yellow. And then we're going to pair them with the mini peonies or mini ranunculus. I think they're mini ranunculus. And then the hot pink. Can't remember. But I will have a full supply list in the description of the video. So we're going to get some of these added. Now these come with a larger head and then the smaller. So we're just going to alternate. Now these are a little on the more spindy side, so if you wanted to just space them out a little bit further, you might not have to use quite as many. Or switch the flower. Don't use the primrose. Use a cheaper floral. A pretty hydrangea would be good there. Something that has a broader floral head, maybe a large yellow peony. You could even go with some yellow cosmos, just something that has a little bit larger of a floral head on there. And I don't usually, I'm going to move this one. I don't like to do usually 4. I like to do odd. It just, to me, looks more visually appealing. add a thick one right here. But again, this is optional, but because, again, you're going to be using more cost because we're adding another stem. Okay, so we sort of have the larger heads and then the smaller ones. And now we're going to start filling it in with our smaller flowers. And again, I'm going to go heavier on the yellow with just a pop of pink. You could keep it all yellow if you wanted. Okay, I'm going to just get a couple of these clustered around here, and then we're going to add in some pink. Try not to go through that grapevine, but if we do, we'll just clip them and clean up our back. I'm going to get another yellow on the outside. I think we'll do three pinks around. Pretty. Okay. Get more of these yellows around here. Okay, so around each of our larger roses, I'm adding 3 pinks, and then everything else is yellow. If I have enough pink at the end, then we might could add some more. This is just a bush that comes with pink, yellow, and white. I've used the white in a different arrangement, so I had a lot of this pink and yellow left, and so I needed to use them up. So that's why we're doing that. Plus, it's just a pretty arrangement for Mother's Day. Bright and cheery, perfect for spring and into summer. And keep this up all through the summer. And these type of wreaths are very easy. They're very beginner friendly because you're just kind of going in a circular pattern, and they're very clustered. So there's not a whole lot of, you don't have to get super, what am I trying to say? It's just very monotonous. There's not a whole lot of design. You're not going crazy with the design. It's keeping it very basic, just in a circular pattern, very clustered. We're putting 3 pink around and the rest is yellow, so pretty simple. I think the hardest part is getting them sometimes down in this grapevine. And each time I place them, they're not exact. They're, you know, a little different. I don't think you see perfectly growing flowers out in nature. They all kind of do their own thing. Okay, so I have a couple pieces of pink left. I have a few pieces on this one, so we might as well use it. So that's going to give us 6 pieces. So we can kind of go around and maybe add a couple on the outside, a little bit more on the outside. So I'm just going to spin it. Kind of look like where maybe we have a little hole. We're heavily clustered right here with yellow. If you guys can see that on the camera, so we'll pop in a pink here. And we have a heavy cluster of yellow right there. We'll just pop that one in right there. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? Just a simple little beautiful Mother's Day wreath. Now we have a couple pieces of our greenery left. I think I want to break up the center just a little bit. So we're going to add a couple pieces of this sort of in the center here. Making sure I'm getting in that grapevine. Let me see where we might get another little piece. Again, this is optional. I'm just going to bring a little bit of this greenery in here. Give it a bend and kind of just make it go how you want it. Got a couple little fern pieces. See if we need any on the outside, maybe right in here. This fern piece got a little bit hidden. It must have been a shorter piece. We're going to add a little bit in there. Maybe right here. All right, I think it's looking pretty good. Now, like I said, you could add a bow. I originally brought in this pink and this yellow. So you could definitely do, and I think using like a 7/8 like this or a 1-inch would be pretty. Since this is a smaller wreath, we don't want our bow to be too trying to see if I like it. I kind of think it's cute with the bow. What do y'all think? We could do the pink since we have a lot of yellow. I brought in the pink and the yellow. I don't want my loop super big. I'm just going to twist. Maybe go up about 1/2 inch. Twist. Go up about 1/2 inch. All right, I think we'll just do 3 loops. 3 loops up and down. Pretty good. I'm going to get a pipe cleaner. And now I'm going to get a little floral pin. Just wrap that pipe cleaner around my floral pin. Push that up. I'm going to go straight down in there. Had I committed to the bow, I would have probably done it before I added all the florals. I really didn't think I was going to add a bow, but it kind of does look cute. So I want that to sit there for a minute and do its thing with the glue. Let me add a little bit more on there. And then we're going to hide our mechanics. We're going to put a little floral or a little maybe piece of this sage around our bow, just to kind of hide our mechanics a little bit. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to just take and roll up the bottom of my ribbon. But again, you could have left the ribbon off. That was my initial kind of thought, but I think it's cute with the ribbon too, so. All right. So I think we're going to go and just add a couple of pieces of this sage right around the loops. Kind of anchor our bow a little bit and help hide that pipe cleaner. We're going to add a little fern piece in here. Maybe one more. Okay, let me show you how I'm going to clean up my back, because I don't know if I've shown you this in a while. So this one was harder to not go through just because everything was so clustered, and we're working on a smaller grapevine. So I'm just going to take and clip, just snip these little stems that came through. That one I'm going to leave. It's kind of tucked right there. We're going to add a little bit of moss. I'm just clipping these. We don't want anything scratching the door. And plus, we just want it to look pretty for our customer. I'm just going to snip these. That one I'm going to leave a little bit in there because we're going to cover it up with moss. But that's our thicker floral stem. Okay, so everything's been snipped, and now we're just going to take a little bit of our brown Spanish moss. Now some people will also use little leaves, like little scrap leaves. I don't think I have a small one to show you. Let me see. Let's just pretend this was the right color. So I have seen some people that will just glue the little leaves around. I don't personally like to do that. On occasion, I might put a leaf on the side. But typically, I'm just going to use a little bit of moss. We're just going to tuck that in there. And with the brown moss, you hardly even recognize that it's there. This one, hit this one a little bit more. And then I just push that moss down into that grapevine. And then if we have any that needs a little haircut afterwards, we just give a little snip. Okay, now I'm going to add a hanger. This is very, very tight. So I could not get it in there with my fingers. So I'm just using my needle nose pliers to try to get my jute string through there and whenever I can pull it. Let me see if that's going to work for me on the hanger. Maybe too far. I think it'll be okay. So now I have a little hanger. Okay, y'all, so here we have our super sweet little Mother's Day wreath. Doesn't have to be Mother's Day. I just think with Mother's Day coming up, it would be perfect for Mother's Day, but it could be a beautiful little spring summer wreath. Small, so something for a smaller door or even something to hang like in your kitchen or your living room. But I think it turned out super sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you're new to our channel, I am Melissa with TCT Crafts Designs and Decor, and we would love to have you subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we have new tutorials. And if you love doing silk floor designs or you're interested in learning how to do silk floor designs and you want more in-depth instruction, we would love to have you over in our Designer Circle group. That is a private membership group that I have where we go into detailed instructions on silk floor arrangements. We do a lot of centerpieces and table arrangements and wreath swags, all the things over there. So again, we would love to have you. I will have a link down in the description of this video where you can go and get more information. So until next time, bye.